Oh yeah, I forgot. This is the episode where the audio gets fucked up. That became apparent immediately. I'll edit in some audio in post-production. Boy, this is gonna be a very lonely episode for me as I'm recording this, 'cause there's no sound. Well, so anywho, welcome back to the video game fun time party hour or whatever. You guys ready to have a good time? Well then, you've come to the wrong place. There's no fun here. Think there's anybody still watching at this point? 41 seconds in. So we got more of your favorite Pokemans. Pokey and the Man. Oh, look at that. Squirtle is ascending to a higher plane. This is just like that funny Egoraptor cartoon with the "Whoa, Charmander, you're evolving." The voice was really the only thing that made the cartoon work. Everything else about it was just kind of mediocre, but it's not like I could do any better, so what the hell am I talking about? Oh, that guy's stopping us. He says, "Stop! You have violated the law. Your goods are now forfeit to blah blah blah." I don't know, I didn't get far enough in Oblivion to actually know what the guy said. Was it Oblivion or Skyrim where the guy says, "Stop! You have violated the law"? You know the one. I just know it from the memes. Never been able to get into those types of games. 'Cause did you see those videos with the Oblivion in real life? And have you heard of the High Elves? Those are fun. An internet classic, as it were. I remember there was a particularly funny comment in that video with the High Elves, and I was trying to explain it to somebody, but he hadn't seen the video in question, and so it wasn't effective at all, and he just kind of looked at me funny like, "What the hell are you even talking about, you stupid asshole?" Okay, so, not too many good options to take on this Voltorb since we got an electric and a flying type, but I think Gladys with half health should be able to handle it. So, did you guys see that thing with, Valve released a bunch of information about cancelled projects from years past, and they were gonna do a proper Half-Life 3 at one point, but it got canned, and just seems very surreal to see Half-Life 3 just as a title in a Reddit post about cancelled games, just in a list of projects that never made it to be, because the rest of them's just a bunch of junk you never even heard of, but then you just got Half-Life 3 nestled in there amongst a list of things that never came to pass, and I find that very unfortunate. I mean, we've got Half-Life Alyx now, which, I mean, I've never played it. I don't have a VR headset, and even if I did, my computer wouldn't be good enough to handle it. That's always frustrated me. Because I put down good money to finally upgrade my computer and put a stop to all these computer-related issues, but even then, I still seem to be behind the curve, and my computer can't run all the cool new games and such. That's why there's never any PC games on this channel. Which fossil? Now, we want the dome fossil. We want Kabuto like a Chad. But we're probably not gonna get far enough in this playthrough to actually see that come to fruition. And besides, doesn't Kabuto, don't you get him at like level 5 once he actually shows up in the game? That's like, by the time you get to the 8th gym, they hand you a level 5 Pokemon, and what the hell am I supposed to do with this? It's the end of the game. Maybe it was a little bit more than that. Maybe it was like level 20 or something, but I remember it being low enough that it wouldn't actually be useful at that point in the game. Not sure what they were going for. I don't know if they wanted you to go back and train him for some obscenely long amount of time, or what the plan was. What's the plan, Stan? There was lots of weirdness in Gen 1, and that was just one of the many things. You've probably seen that video that's been circulating around recently about the Mario 64 iceberg, and if by chance the guy who made that video ends up seeing this video, I just want to say to him that he should make a Pokemon Red and Blue iceberg. I think out of all the thousands upon thousands of video games out there, I feel that Pokemon Red and Blue would be the only other game that's comparable to Mario 64 in terms of weirdness and extended lore. There's a whole bunch of stuff you could find if you actually tried to make a long video about all the weirdness of Gen 1. You could probably make like a 6-hour long video if you wanted to go in depth enough. Because, just think about it. You got Massingno, and you got Mew under the truck, and you got the Mew glitch where you can actually catch him in the game, and that wasn't discovered until like 2013. And, let's see, there's the fact that when a Pokemon gets the frozen status effect, there's no way to undo it unless it gets hit by a fire-type move, and there's the man on the roof glitch, and there's the Lavender Town creepypasta, and there's the theory about how Gary's Raticate died, and that's just some of it. There's just so much stuff you could make a video on. I hope someday somebody out there with good vocal talents and good production values can make a video about the Pokemon Red and Blue iceberg. That'd be a hell of a thing, let me tell you. Okay, so in this route we're in currently, Cerebi.net said that you could catch a Psyduck here, but I looked at it later and turns out I was looking at the wrong description. That was for Let's Go Pikachu. There was a wild Psyduck there, but not here. So later in the episode, I'm just gonna waste a shit ton of time trying to find something that doesn't exist. A regular snipe hunt, if you will. You ever hear that term, snipe hunt, where wayward campers try to find a strange mythical bird that does not exist in the real world? Yeah, that's a thing. It's one of those mythological creatures like Bigfoot or the Sasquatch or the Loveland Frog or the Michigan Dogman or the Wendigo or others. I saw a thing online recently. It was like a chart of all the mythical beings or cryptids as they were, like spread out over a map of the U.S. and there was the Loveland Frog, as previously mentioned. Holy crap, that bike's expensive. You're not supposed to actually buy it. In fact, I don't think you can actually earn that amount of money in the game. But I guess you got Meowth with Payday, because the Payday move generates money, but I don't think that would be workable based on the amount that it generates. Besides, I don't think that the total amount of money you can have, I don't think the digits even go that high. Anywho, so yeah, I was talking about the Loveland Frog, and apparently they made a musical about it. It was called like Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frog, or Holy Hell, It's the Loveland Frog. It's an interesting story. Well, I guess switching topics, just the Loveland Frog in general is just an interesting story, because he had been a mythical beast for many years, and then interest in the creature took a resurgence, if you will, in the early 70s, where there was an incident where the Loveland, Ohio police reported killing a large iguana that didn't have a tail. And so people were saying, oh, that must have been it. That was the mythical beast of lore. I wanted to say of yore, but that's not correct. And then I wanted to say of lore, but that's not correct either. So yeah, maybe the Loveland Frog was real. Yeah, so that guy wants to trade a Poliwhirl for a Jinx, but you don't actually get a Poliwhirl until maybe like the 5th gym, when you get the good rides, so we'd have to go out of our way and then come all the way back. And that ain't gonna work. Okay, so this guy tells you the benefits of each badge. That's kind of useful. If you don't have the strategy guide, this guy can fill you in on some mission critical information. I never did have the strategy guide to Pokemon Red and Blue. Oh yeah, there was a hidden item there. Man, lots happening in this episode, huh? Anyway, I never did have the strategy guide. It's probably because I was like 4 years old when the game came out, and I wouldn't have been able to read at such a young age. I did later get the strategy guide for Red and Blue, Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is basically the same thing. That was the first time they ever made one of those Pokemon remakes, and now they've kind of stopped, honestly. It's been like 6 years since the Ruby and Sapphire remakes, and by now we should have had Diamond and Pearl remakes, but no such thing has happened. I'd be down for it if they did Diamond and Pearl remakes on the Switch. If they did it for the 3DS, though, I mean, why would they? That wouldn't make sense in 2020, but if for some boneheaded reason they made Diamond and Pearl remakes for the 3DS, that would change my overall outlook on the game, and I wouldn't get it then if that's what they did, because there's no way to capture from a 3DS, so I wouldn't be able to make my Let's Plays. There is one way you can, well, actually there's a couple, but there really aren't any feasible ways to get 3DS footage. You can use an emulator, but the emulation isn't quite that accurate yet. They've got like a soft mod you can do where you can stream it over the internet. That's probably the most reasonable way, but since I've got the original Model 3DS, that ain't gonna work, because the soft mod works better on the newer 3DSs, and with an old 3DS the visual quality really suffers, and it runs probably less than 1 FPS. The video has to stop currently, so that doesn't work. Then the third option was there was a modding service you could get, where there was just like some guy working out of his garage who could hard mod your 3DS. I believe his name was Katsu Kitty, and he lived in Japan, and that was quite difficult to do anyway. I think the Nintendo ninjas shut him down, so there's no way to do that no more either. There's just no good way to make Let's Plays of 3DS games. And so that's why I wouldn't want Diamond and Pearl on the 3DS. If they did do Diamond and Pearl remakes, do you think they'd totally fuck it up like they did with Sword and Shield? I mean, I wasn't that annoyed by Sword and Shield, but I know lots of people were, and it's a sensitive issue. So getting back to the actual game here, I'm trying to find a Psyduck, like I said from earlier, and you can't get a Psyduck here. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, because, Psyduck's a water type, and we're coming up on the water gym, and what good's that gonna do? No good at all. But at a minimum, I guess we're getting some EXP for Barney Rubble, so that's a plus. Hey, Fred, I'm getting EXP in Pokemon. That impression sounds nothing like Barney Rubble. It's too deep. Boy, I hope this is actually all getting recorded. I just had this idea that maybe my microphone isn't turned on or something, and all this effort is going to waste. Let's see, I'm trying to think of all the funny audio edits I can do to spice things up when I have to go back and add in the audio later. And, I guess I can't say them out loud right now, because that would spoil them, but there is the calculus as to what's going to get copyright ID'd and what won't, and I don't know in advance, because YouTube is very unhelpful in that regard. Ever notice how Spearo's wing in that sprite just kind of looks like a giant human hand pointing off screen? There's that picture circulating on and 4chan with the guy from American Psycho doing the point and sneer, and it's the same gesture as what Spiro was doing just then. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Is anybody out there? Anyway. Kind of running out of stuff to talk about and getting kind of burnt out from this 15-minute marathon of saying stuff very quickly into a microphone, just like that guy from Zero Punctuation. You guys know who I'm talking about. You think he actually talks fast, or do you think he just speeds it up after the fact? Maybe a little of both. I find it a bit hard to keep up with him when I watch his videos because it goes so damn fast that my stupid caveman brain can't absorb the jokes because they come so quickly. I just feel overwhelmed and frankly kind of stupid for watching it, and I just kind of turn it off after that. I used to be able to keep up with it better, maybe 5-10 years ago, which I guess is a sign that I'm getting stupider. But oh well, I guess you can't fight it. You just gotta embrace it. Are we prepared to actually fight Stu? So far, it doesn't seem to be the case. It's significantly underleveled. I don't like how in the first gen it says it didn't affect the other one, because it's basically just a different way of saying that the attack missed and gives the player the impression that the move just doesn't work at all. I remember Earthbound had that issue as well. Look at that, he woke up after just one turn. That ain't right. Barney Rubble's gonna get his ass kicked. Hey Fred, I'm getting my ass kicked. How long am I gonna keep up this terrible impression? I could make it even worse and try to make him sound like Bobcat Goldthwait or something. Oh, Bobcat Goldthwait. Back in the earlier days of this channel, I used to put weird little outros on the ends of my videos, just random clips that were appended to the end, and usually they wouldn't make any sense. And I had one, it was a clip of Bobcat Goldthwait doing stand-up, and at one point he yelled, "Scott Baio is the Antichrist!" And I feel like if someone were to yell that nowadays, it would be even funnier, because Scott Baio isn't even a relevant celebrity anymore. So back then, that would have been a mildly funny thing to say, just to say that current celebrity is the Antichrist. But now, if you were to just yell that at random, it would be funnier, because you're saying that some forgotten celebrity from 30 years ago is the Antichrist, and people would think, where did he come up with Scott Baio of all people? Maybe someday I can have Scott Baio be a guest star on this channel. Gosh, wouldn't that be the weirdest thing? Hard to say who's more popular between me and him these days. Me, the Let's Player with no active subs, versus the star of Who's the Boss, the comedy thing from 30 years ago. I probably shouldn't actually be saying all this on the internet. I'm getting a bit paranoid that somebody might try to reach out to him on Twitter or something and show him this video, and then I'm gonna be all embarrassed, and then I'll stop making new videos, and we can't have that. I get the impression War Turtle's really just gonna kinda carry the team for most of this fight. I don't think Abra can really fight back, so we should be good in that department. Yep, all it knows is how to run away. Run away, run away from Dick Cheney, yeah. Did you ever see that video? It was the Bob Rivers parody of Genie's Got a Gun. It was Cheney's Got a Gun. Because, you know, there was that incident where he shot another man in the face. And those were the days. People like to think that the world's more well, actually, I'm going to stop myself in mid-sentence here. This isn't true. Guess we're just going to shut that conversation down altogether. So here's a topic for you. I once read an article about the angry beavers. the cartoon from Nickelodeon, and they were saying there was something unusual they did in one episode, some kind of unusual animation technique. It had to do with a clock in the background where the clock would update in real time based on how the episode aired, and I gotta look that up to see if that's actually a real thing or if I just imagine that, because I'd imagine that would be really hard to do in a pre-made episode. How would they make that happen? Definitely something to look up. Our rival hasn't evolved his main starter yet. What a loser. He just had a level 17 Bulbasaur. So is Bill in this game supposed to be based on Bill Gates? Because he's like a computer man, and he's named Bill? Based on the timing of when this game came out, I bet you that's a thing. Alright, so there goes my baby. He'll be back though, so join us again next week for more Pokemon, I suppose. Got plenty of episodes stockpiled up.